Christmas, that holly jolly time of year when people go out of their way to celebrate in spirit, song, and kilowatts.
This thing has taken over my life.
Some do it small.
1,500 lights.
Some do it bigger.
20,000 lights.
And some go completely over the top.
5 million lights can generate an electric bill of about 5 figures.
40,000 lights in that one tree alone.
It's not how many lights you use, it's how you hang them.
Yes, nothing says peace on earth like an alien Santa riding a sleigh full of robot reindeer.
That's a nativity scene. It's made out of crash test dummies.
My favorite decoration is the moose.
What makes the guy down the street pump 400 amps into his house
I need a generator, the biggest one you can give me.
and build a Dayglow Candyland?
I wonder if there's anybody else in September putting Christmas lights up.
Join us as we explore the supersized world of crazy Christmas lights.
Hi, I'm Mr. Christmas, and we're going big.
Bethlehem may have been the first desert town to light up for Christmas, but it's got nothing on Palm Springs. Millionaire playground, warm desert breezes, and California living.
Hello, my name is Kenny Irwin. I have been doing my light display for 18 years. It is 5 million lights this year.
It's winter in Palm Springs, and that means 31-year-old artist Kenny Irwin is hard at work finishing his light display on the family 4-acre estate. With 1 week to go before the crowds arrive, Kenny is under the gun.
I have to get this Santa up to date. It's nearly 60 feet tall. It's the biggest one I put on the roof yet. Oh, the Santa looks great. Probably I have the biggest Santa almost anywhere on any house you'll ever see.
Ken is extremely talented, and the amount of time that he spends on this project is absolutely phenomenal. It's difficult really to explain. It's something you'd have to see.
A surreal combination of original sculpture and Christmas lights, Kenny's display is an art installation like no other.
Being in the desert, everything gets a little dusty. When they go out on the street, they're going to look really good. Some of these weigh as much as 500 pounds apiece. And then, of course, you got the sleigh over here. That weighs about a ton. Probably inevitably, I'm going to have to get them out there by myself. It's never easy. These are going to go up in front where you saw the TV and the virtual Santa. And over there, those are the bins for the toys.
Kenny has been crazy for Christmas since he was a child.
Kenny is a Christmas story. He lives for Christmas. He's the fastest to unwrap all the presents. He's the one who wraps and buys the most presents for all the other family members.
Not everybody can live with robot reindeer, but Kenny's dad supports his passion.
I really enjoy his sculptures, but there are a lot of them. He uses the property. It's different than what I designed it for. My tennis court is now a children's village for Christmas.
The summers here are hard on the display. There's only one place that gets hotter than Palm Springs, and that's the empty quarter in Saudi Arabia. It's not uncommon for us to see temperatures over 130 degrees here. I mean, look at this. I just put these poinsettias in here, and they're already cooked.
Kenny was very introspective to begin with. He would take bits and floats them and jets them and anything that happened to be laying around. And if you planned on using something, never leave it where he could get to it. Kenny would use it in a sculpture.
That's a nativity scene. It's made out of crash test dummies. I do anchor things down. I bolt them down real well. I do have surveillance. I do have the German shepherds I let out at night, and amongst a few other surprises.
Making his show bigger and brighter each year has pushed Kenny's power to the limit. He's now up to 6,400 amps.
That's enough to power a 10-block area. These are this army of robots. These are where they're all stored and everything. This is probably like one of the few left that have lights in them. And that's where everything gets stored.
Downtown at the hardware store, David Callahan has some insight into Kenny's million bulb habit.
Kenny is one of our bigger customers.
Kenny's been getting merchandise from us for about 6 years. And each year he seems to be getting more and more. Kenny has probably between 1 and 2 million lights. But it looks like 10 million lights when it's all turned on.
The stores had concern that I was exhausting their lights before we even got anywhere near the season, so other people didn't have any lights to buy. So yeah, some of the stores banned me from buying lights. I just said, no, I'm just trying to make the biggest, happiest Christmas you could ever have.
Last Christmas Eve, I stopped in to see his display. I saw Kenny standing there in what appeared to be garb of the 3 wise men. I looked at him, I said, Kenny? He turned to me, and he started babbling. He looked around so that make sure nobody was listening. And he said, it's me, I'm talking in tongues.
It's Kenny's opening night. The show runs December through January, and thousands come each year to see his Christmas village.
Down here they have these 2 robots. They both shoot steam. This one's straight high up into the sky. This one's straight out into the street. And here you have Santas from all over the world, oven bought. There's 2 extraterrestrial slugs that have beamed inside this robot. Embryonic aliens right here to greet the people as they come in. My Christmas light display is aimed to please and inspire and bring pleasure to all the peoples around.
Big is something that Kenny does, and the smaller sculptures he did when he was young had to grow, because I guess as his skills grew and his talent grew, then his landscape had to grow.
Kenny's bill for powering 1,000 different circuits and timers Thanksgiving through New Year's can top 5 figures.
This is the tunnel of lights that leads to the Christmas village. Here everybody makes their contribution to the gargantuan electric fee, and then we go down the super long tunnel of lights. It extends quite a ways, and it goes on and on. Here we are in the Christmas village, the whole entire village of Christmas. Santa's workshop over here. Bubbles falling everywhere. Wow, it's a giant gingerbread house, complete with gingerbread men, candy canes, a spectacular 40-foot tall Santa tower. You see a 25-foot tall Christmas tree. There's a 30-foot tall robot back there with chasing lights. We see Rudolph perched right out of Rudolph's barn. This is called an Electrobot. It's 30% tiger, 30% reindeer, and 40% robot. All in one, it's 100% complete. I built it all by myself. I do this all by myself. It's just me, myself, and I, and the 3 of us work together. And that concludes my tour of my light display. My favorite thing is the whole thing. The whole thing is my favorite thing.
California isn't the only state with eccentrics. 3,000 miles away in Richmond, Virginia, Sheriff Frank Hudak, a.k.a. Mr. Christmas, has been broadcasting holiday cheer from his mailbox for over 25 years.
Welcome to Christmas House 2006.
I'm Mr. Christmas, and I'll be out to greet you in just a few minutes.
In the meantime, sit back and enjoy all this wonderful Christmas music we've got for you.
Christmas in Richmond usually officially kicks in on the first Friday in December. But one important ingredient was missing, and that ingredient was music. And I got to do something about this. So I built my own radio station, FM 107.7 stereo. And this is Christmas House Radio. As you notice, the studio is kind of small, but of course we only run it during Christmas. My transmitter is up in the attic, along with the linear amplifier and a few other little gadgets. I'd been on radio for quite a number of years. And one of the other disc jockeys dubbed me Mr. Christmas. I'm glad that he did that, because I didn't want to be mistaken for Santa Claus, because I'm not. If you look down here, out on the lawn, there rose such a ladder.
It's really, really pretty.
Christmas is for the children of all ages. Right, Lauren?
Right.
Right. So I've got in excess of 55,000 lights, and that's not including the jacket.
Mr. Christmas doesn't just make his house sparkle, he illuminates himself.
I think I'm Edison incarnate, because ever since I was about 7 years old, I loved light bulbs. Somebody gave me that for my bicycle, and I don't have a bicycle, so I said, well, I'll put it on my coat. These were designed for the kids' backpacks, you know, so they could be seen in the dark with the Noel button. And this one has got lights built into it. It's neat, don't you think? These were a collectible. Aren't they neat? I got the bow tie when I was on a trip to Orlando. It's the only thing I brought back from Disney World, but I love it.
Don't touch that fuse box. Crazy Christmas Lights will be right back. Richmond, Virginia. State capital. Silicon hub of the Southeast. Birthplace of the Confederacy. And home of Crazy Christmas Lights. Crazy Christmas Lights? For the past 20 years, something has been growing in Richmond with no end in sight. It's invaded tasteful neighborhoods and driven innocent families to the brink of kitsch. Meet the Hudgens.
You see the lights, just excitement, you know.
The Thompsons.
I'm hooked on Christmas.
And the Pfeiffers.
I gotta go all out. It's either gonna be the best or it's not worth doing.
Top contenders this season in the Richmond Tacky Lights Tour. These families spend countless hours and every spare dollar going big with their displays, and they insist the Tacky Tour is just a friendly competition. But is it? For the past 17 years, Cynthia McMullen at the Richmond Times-Dispatch has been deciding who is tacky enough to be on the coveted list of Tacky Tour homes.
Thank you. All right, bye. You have people who actually call and get upset because they're not on the list or because they were on the recommended list and then didn't make the full list. But you know, you have standards even when it comes to tacky lights. It used to be you could get away with about 10,000 lights. This year our minimum is 30,000 lights. A lot of people have 50, 60, 70,000 lights. If you put Richmond up against Las Vegas, you know, bulb to bulb, wattage to wattage, circuit to circuit, we come in pretty close.
Happy holidays! Richmond's appetite for Christmas lights is so huge, it had to get a website. Meet Matt Burgess, the man who created TackyLightTour.com.
I never thought so many people would use the site, and last year we had about 50,000 unique visitors. Some homes have a lot of lights, other ones have animated displays. I've used kind of those ideas to create different categories, like the most likely to be seen from space, or the best home for children. Al Thompson's home probably gets me just because it's a little bit smaller lot, but just completely overloaded.
This is the third year that we've been real big.
Al Thompson may be the new guy on the Tacky Tour, but already he's the man to beat.
Well, I'm 59 years old. I've been married for 38 years and have no children. But I'm kind of like always been a kid myself. I've never grown up. So Christmas lights have always, I'm like a little kid when I see them, whether it be mine or anybody else's. If I go by a house that has candles in the window, I'm excited about that. The star overall is 12 foot tall. See, this part right here, this is the bottom tail. Now the star is actually made in 3 pieces, and the top part is a right and left half, which is split right here, and that's already put together here.
Whatever Al's hobby, wife Esther is always part of the team.
Can you get it to me?
Most of this time, I'm just helping him, you know, tie things, holding the ladder. That's my job, holding the ladder.
Al's neighbor Emil lends a hand with the roof work.
I've been hearing the sound of hammers and saws for about 2 weeks, wondering what Al was building, and hollered over and asked him. He said, I'm working on my Christmas decorations. This is April or May.
All right, I'll come around and tie it off. Yeah, throw the rope down.
43% of holiday accidents are falls from ladders. That's the kind of statistic that spooks a guy like Al, who has a fear of heights.
We've been doing it, and we've had no problems. But, yeah, we're aware that's dangerous up there. How's that? That it? Okay. That's a knot. I call it a trucker's knot. When I used to work for a moving company when I was real young, that's how we would tie down furniture, equipment, or whatever on the truck.
Al always starts with the roof, then moves on to his ground elements.
It's good.
Really?
Yeah. One of the things that I wanted to do when I went big 2 years ago was do it a little different. And once I started to design and create and build, the juices really started to flow then. All this here on the deck is new, either store-bought items or items I built. Now, everything is about the lights. It's not really so much about how it's painted or anything. I would have made all these black, except they're going to be right up in front of the house at the street. So during the day, instead of having black lollipops, I went ahead and painted these. See, it's a plywood board. A light goes through and comes out the other side. There it is right there. 190 lights. I got it written down right there. Every piece that I build has how many lights on it, so when I'm putting it all together, I know how many lights I put up each day. The total lights here is 170,166. Yes, I am obsessive and compulsive. Yes, I am.
My husband is an artist. He's the one who draws them all out, and then we paint them.
You know what you can do? I can probably, if you want to go up with it like that, what do you think? Yeah, one of the things that I do is that I bundle up lights. Right here, you can see there's 3 cords, and I use the pipe cleaner to tie it. And if you look at these lights, these are just regular Christmas lights that stay on constantly. This is a chaser that flashes. So what you got is solid lights going up with flashing in between, so it's making that twinkling, and it makes it pop better.
As a psychologist, I think there are multiple reasons why people get so hooked into the whole Christmas celebration. The decorations is only one part of that, but that can be a really big one. For some people, it is the symbol of their childhood in terms of having had really luscious experiences, and they want to preserve that and keep that alive.
One of the things that I have to think about as I build everything is how do I store it? And the reason this is in 2 pieces is because if this was all one piece, it would be hard to store it in the house. So that's the nativity. And this goes front and center in the yard. I've got about 90,000 lights up so far. So we got to finish everything in the next about 3 weeks. I got it.
It just wears me out thinking about everything that's done. It is really amazing.
Al Thompson's house raises the bar in the Tacky Lights Tour.
Lights. Can't have enough lights.
But the Pfeiffers and the Hudgens are up for the challenge. Find out how they take their wattage even higher when we return to Crazy Christmas Lights. Now it's time for a Crazy Christmas Lights factoid.
In the 1890s, one of Thomas Edison's executives took home a bunch of colored electric light bulbs and hung them on his tree, and the neighbors noticed, and the local newspaper noticed. Edison, being a shrewd gentleman, started manufacturing and selling these lights.
Hi, it's Mr. Christmas on Christmas House Radio. Just 2 weeks to light up. How many lights have you got on your house?
One of the longest continual displays in Richmond belongs to the Pfeiffer family. They have been decorating their home for over 30 years. Bobby found his first box of bulbs when he was 12, and now his children are part of the tradition.
Sometimes doing this, I do feel like a kid, because you sort of got to think on a kid's level, because I'm doing this for children. So you sort of got to drop back to 3 or 4 or 5 years old, maybe 8 years old, and come up with what they want to see. When I was 8 or 9, I found the first string of Christmas lights in the shed. My father, Earl, who recently passed away, he said, do what I want with them, so I did the door and window when it went on. My mother, because she loved it, he let us do it, and I think that's what he enjoyed, was having her to have a month of sort of being the queen of Richmond, where everybody knew who Rose Pfeiffer was and her light a house.
We nominate you Queen of Christmas.
The entire Pfeiffer clan pitches in every year.
We're going to put the candy canes in the yard. We're going to put the candy canes around the flower bed. Move your hoof. Move your hoof. It's a tradition. When you get people come up to the door, Halloween, kids going trick or treat, oh, you already start putting your lights up, what's new? You know, here it is, Halloween, we have Christmas stuff up, and the kids expect it.
Dad, what do we do now?
The truth is as human beings, we always have a little bit, at least, of a selfish motive. There's always something in it for us, too. So around Christmas time, you can see adults walking around, and they're usually saying, oh, we do this grand thing for the kids. Well, that's probably true in part, but there's usually a little bit that we're trying to discover and explore and experience for ourselves as well.
Chuck Hudgens and his wife Sherry have been creating their Christmas fantasy land for the past 10 years.
I normally get started on my displays the first weekend of October. It takes me about a good 6 to 8 weeks.
What I need for y'all to do is you're going to go around back and you're going to get the wagon. And don't throw too many blow molds on it, but throw a few and just put them in the yard. We're going to have to decide later where we're going to put them.
Blow molds play a large part in the Hudgens display. Light plastic and lit from within, the Smurfs, Frosties, and candy canes are a big hit with the kids.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it right. We're going to do it big. We're going to overdo.
Their daughter Leah does the ground lights.
I think we only have like 50 of these we have to do. They are out here every weekend for the whole weekend since the beginning of October until through Christmas doing all this work. So it's just amazing what they do. Chuck is the captain of the ship and we just all kind of joined in.
The only person safe on a roof in December is Santa. 4 out of every 10 holiday accidents happen on top of a house. Bobby, Chuck, and Al's houses may look normal, but on closer inspection, they're fitted for going big.
As far as my electrical, this was the original panel box, and I had a few circuits in here where I had going out to the yard, a couple things. So that's when I had my electrician come in, and he wired a whole new section up. So that's nothing but Christmas lights all up in there. I've got a total of 13 circuits for the Christmas lights. There's one right here, it's hidden. I've got another one on the side of the porch right there. 2 on each side of this tree. I've got them along the fence in the back around the house. Under my porch, I've got 4 more. 1, 2, 3. I've still got 3. I can still add 6 more circuits in there if I wanted to.
The electrical upgrade this year's cost us close to $1,500 to $1,600.
$4,000. Everything that was put in by electricians. Last year, I think I was drawing right over 200 amps at 155,000 lights.
155,000?
Yeah. This year, I probably, I built 30 new items this year. Now, the main thing about the fuses and the plugs is you don't want to put more than 3 cords of light. Cord of light's generally 100 lights. So you don't want to put more than 300 together end to end, because that'll pop that little fuse.
If you hook more than 3 together, you'll blow the fuse on them. So get creative like I did years ago and they start putting them in there. You get some galvanized nails, pop out the fuses, cut them, and pop them in there, and you hook all you want up to them. A lot of people come over here and think I'm an electrician, and I'm not. It's just one of these things I sort of got out there and learned and did, been shocked a few times. 120 doesn't hurt you, it gives you a little tingle.
I used to have a full head of hair till I started doing with electrical. Now you see what happens? Get an electrician.
Now, when we get all the decorations up, we go to the breaker box, and we've got probably 10 breakers that we turn on. Click, 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 and it's on. It's something to see.
Going big isn't cheap.
As far as the cost, the electric might run, I think my wife said it might run $200 to $300 more.
The electric last year was about $550.
Last year's electric bill jumped almost $850 just for December on top of the regular bill. That's not counting in November when you're out there putting stuff up, which went about another $200. So it's going to be a pretty scary bill to open into January.
Most people use a step stool to put a star on their Christmas tree. Find out why Bobby Pfeiffer needs a cherry picker next on Crazy Christmas Lights. Now it's time for our Crazy Christmas Lights factoid.
Only after World War II, when you had a universal electrification all over the United States and the price of generating power and the price of light bulb strands went down, that's when it became a really big phenomenon.
Yes, I am obsessive and compulsive.
It's kind of like a show that you do every year. You want to give the public something different.
Biggest, happiest Christmas you could ever have.
The holiday extravaganza continues on TLC with more Crazy Christmas Lights, only on TLC.
1 week before the tacky tour. Time for last-minute tweaks and bulb checks.
It's a race to do this. If we had 3 weekends of rain, I don't know what we'd do.
If you get rained out on one weekend, you have to make it up the next weekend or on the weekdays. I've been out here with kidney stones. No, you're not allowed to get sick for 3 months while decorating this.
For Bobby Pfeiffer, who leaves up the 60,000 lights on his big tree all year round, that means getting out the cherry picker. Bobby's 60-foot tree of light isn't the only Christmas tree in the Pfeiffer display.
This tree is made out of traffic signal heads I took apart and made into a frame. It's a hit. The kids love it, and it's different. You know, it shows you don't have to use Christmas lights to make something Christmassy. Never light them up during the year at all because it gets depressing. You see how much squirrels eat them up. You end up with stuff like this. The squirrels chew them off as acorns. And you'll walk around the yard and pick up several hundred of these, which each one is a string light you have to replace. We probably have up in the attic just extras and spares, probably another 300,000 or 400,000.
When you go big, what else can go wrong? You name it.
Vandalism is a problem in Richmond.
Every year we have concrete animals disappear out there that do $3,000 or $4,000 damage in one night quick. Last year we had a concrete deer that weighed about 250 pounds disappear. Donkeys disappeared. We had a 350-pound giraffe that someone walked off with on a Friday evening about 8 o'clock and nobody seen it.
I had an igloo stolen. This igloo is like this big and that high, and I mean, there's no way, first of all, that one person can carry it. I sat outside in my car with my uniform and weapon, waiting. Had they come back?
One of the things that I've done to try and prevent some of that is I have fenced my yard and made it in a way that it's not just easy to walk into. The other things that can really hurt is wind. This has been the windiest conditions that I've had in the 3 or 4 years, and we had some casualties. Some trees went down. One of them toppled all the way over. I had them braced in here with just this a rebar inside of this PVC pipe here with the tree tied to it and braced and so on, but now I've got 2x2 in there. The winds were so strong coming through here that it blew the tree over and actually bent this rebar stake. That shows you how strong the winds were here.
The wind can be a big factor. First year I decided to put reindeer on the roof, and I was using tie straps. And it was a few weeks before Christmas. We had a good windstorm come in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden I heard thunka, 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 thunka. I turned to my wife and said, "Santa?" And what it was, the tie straps didn't hold, and Rudolph was leaving up in the air, so when it took Rudolph, him and the rest of the reindeers just came piling down behind the house like a hunter came out and had himself a heyday.
Windstorms, huge electric bills, Grinch squirrels. What makes them do it?
My mother lives for this house being decorated. I mean, this is an all-year thing. In July, she's out looking for little pictures to get drawn and made. She literally lives for this.
I love it very much. That's the highlight of the year, Christmas.
Is it worth decorating? Most time, yes. Sometimes, no. I got 4 months out of my life that's dedicated to this. $3,000 to $4,000 a year to do this. All our extra money goes to this, our extra time. We don't take vacations. We don't do anything. But for my mom, and to watch her out there.
And she's out there every night that the house is lit.
Since my father passed away, this is her pride and joy. I'm going to keep doing this for my mom and for my father.
Why do I do it? Mainly, I think I do it for kids. Seeing their eyes light up and watching the people, young and old. We get people from 6 to 60. And it's the reactions I get from them. And nothing gives you a better feeling inside when you got people coming up saying how much they love the lights, how much they enjoy it. It's a warm feeling inside. It's just something I just love doing.
He's just a wonderful man.
It's a wonderful life.
Bobby Pfeiffer may do it for his mom, and Chuck Hudgens may be doing it for the kids. But extreme hobbyist Al Thompson does it because he can.
Every hobby that I've ever had, I've gone to the 110%. I got hooked on whitewater canoeing years ago. So I can't just paddle down some little streams. I've got to go over 20 and 30-foot waterfalls in an open canoe, and it's just to the extreme. If I'm going to do Christmas lights, I got to do it right.
Al Thompson and Chuck Hudgens go way back. And Chuck never misses a chance to check out Al's latest designs.
All right, Christmas decorations. This is where I keep myself organized using this book here. The whole yard is laid out on paper, exactly where every piece goes. So when I walk out the front door, I know exactly where I've got to go with it.
I love the book. He's organized. I've been doing it for 10 years. You saw my house. I got a scrap little piece of paper. I wrote this all here.
But my main focus is to keep everything sharp, neat, and not just like it's been thrown out there.
This is unbelievable. I don't know how to describe it. It just amazes me. Oh, it's beautiful.
Mr. Christmas here again. Just 1 week to light up. Time to check those bulbs.
Hop in a limo with Mr. Christmas. Next on Crazy Christmas Lights. Now it's time for a Crazy Christmas Lights factoid.
There are all kinds of different versions of how lights are arranged. Sometimes they are arranged in what's called swags. When they are hanging in curves, there are also nets. There are icicle lights, chasing lights, ropes. There are as many ways to do it as you could want. Get an electrician. It saves a lot of trouble.
Yes, I am obsessive and compulsive.
It's kind of like a show that you do every year. You want to give the public something different.
Biggest, happiest Christmas you could ever have.
The holiday extravaganza continues on TLC with more crazy Christmas lights, only on TLC.
Today is December 1st. In Richmond today is when the limos start to roll on the Tacky Light Tour. It really starts to pick up tonight.
The blow molds are out, the tree is checked, and all the lights are bundled. Gentlemen, man your breakers. It's time to light up.
My lights are there for me to enjoy and enjoy the overall hobby of doing it, and for everyone else to enjoy.
When I'm scratching up my knuckles or trying to get underneath the shingles or feel like you're about to fall off the roof, I said, man, is this really worth it? But when it lights up, yeah, it's well worth it.
Decorating for my mom this year was, I think, the best thing we've done. This was the highlight of her night, is lighting the house up. Because this is the one thing she looked forward to. Without having my father Earl around, there's a bright spot in her holiday.
Welcome, all you folks on the Tacky Lights Tour. I'm Mr. Christmas, and you're listening to
Christmas House Radio, FM 107.7 stereo.
Mr. Christmas never wants to be mistaken for Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. So he prefers to handicap the tour in the comfort of a limo instead of a sleigh.
This is downtown Richmond, Christmas. And here we are at the James Center. This is what we call the non-residential part of the Tacky Tour. It still has that warm fuzzy. You'll notice that the building is outlined in lights, and of course the deer. So every year they add more deer to this. Kind of a little bit of an oasis in the middle of a concrete city. I believe we're going to Shelby Lane right now. Well, this is one I haven't seen this year, so it'll be interesting to see it and see how it's turned out. That's gorgeous. I think that I especially like the strobes. Every year there are more and more people that are jumping on the bandwagon on the Tacky Tour, and they're starting to decorate their houses in big ways here in Richmond. Isn't that heaven? I think he needs a couple more snowmen, but... Hey guys, where are we going next? We're going to the Pfeiffers. Look out the window now and you'll see the tree. They have always done an excellent job. Talk about a house that you can see from outer space. It's definitely theirs.
Mr. Christmas arrives at the Pfeiffers on Asbury Court.
There are some nice qualities about this. The brightest, the biggest thing is that tree.
I like the tree.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
You got yours lit up yet?
Tonight.
Tonight.
I just hit the switches tonight on it, yeah.
Got a super heavy flow of traffic out here already. It's heavier than every year. It gets busier and busier.
It gets crazy out here.
Look at this, as far as you can see.
We saw it from the street.
I was like, oh my God! None of this was around 20 years ago. What's happening is what I wanted to happen. I wanted to encourage more people to do this because it makes them feel good.
It's hard to say who has the biggest display, and it's also slightly dangerous to try and say who has the biggest display, just because there is that competition. However friendly, there is that competition.
I wouldn't really call it a competition. It's not cutthroat.
Next stop, the Hudgens on Little Sorrel Drive.
I like the Santa's Workshop. I like the animals over here that are dancing and singing. The carousel just blows me away. And I also like the fact that he's got the Santa sleigh and reindeer going across to the neighbor's house. I think that's great, yes, to get them up in the air like that.
The best part of it, watching kids come up seeing lights. I don't care if you're 6 or 60. People come back and they say, oh, I've got to bring my friends back to see this. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a show that you do every year, and you want to give the public something different.
And last but not least, Al Thompson's home on Wendhurst Drive.
Very nice. I think it's absolutely magnificent. A lot of work went into this, and he's got a theme to it. This is beautiful.
I talked to thousands of people during the Christmas season, and the Christmas spirit that they bring to my house is just it's overwhelming to me.
I'm glad for the tour.
Yeah, come on in. You see those people, they're happy, they're cheerful, they're full of spirit, they're families, with the 2 or 3 kids, and their eyes are just as big as you can imagine, and they're running up and down going, look, Mommy, look, Daddy. I took notes at your house, so anything I could steal from you, I did.
I'm flattered.
Yeah. I always say I don't mind stealing anything from anybody.
I'm taking notes right now. You know that, don't you?
Al, thank you.
Oh, wow, Frank. I appreciate that.
Merry Christmas. You're welcome. Well, I don't know who's going to win, but I do love Al's clean lines. Even if you don't enjoy Christmas lights, it's the artistry and it's the innovation that people put into it. So, are they tacky? No, I don't believe they're tacky. I think they're artistic.
Who will win the Tacky Lights Tour? Chuck Hudgens with his reindeer on the roof? Al Thompson with his triple strands of twinkle lights and chasers? Or Bobby Pfeiffer with his 60-foot landmark Tree of Light? Find out when we return to Crazy Christmas Lights. Now it's time for a Crazy Christmas Lights factoid.
Christmas lights are a straight-out expression of what people really are and what they love. There are people in farm country who will light up a tractor. I've seen people light up cars, bicycles, clothing. It is everybody's own self-expression, and they light up whatever they like.
They competed hard all season, but only one house can win the Tacky Lights trophy. Will it be the Hudgens, the Thompsons, or the Pfeiffers? There are favorite categories on the website, but only one overall winner. The house that got the most votes on the TackyLightTour.com was the house you could see from space. Bobby Pfeiffer's Labor of Love on Asbury Court.
Congratulations, Pfeiffer family.
Website founder Matt Burgess presents the family with their trophy.
Based on votes casted at TackyLightTour.com, your home was voted as the best home on Richmond's Tacky Light Tour. There you go. Congratulations. Way to go. Being presented with this award is awesome. I mean, this is just the perfect year to get it. With death of my father, this means so much to my mom.
Congratulations. You did a lot of hard work.
Thank you, sir.
Winning this award is great. We've been waiting a long time for it because I think my son has put a lot of work, a lot of heart into it. I think it's just wonderful.
They start taking them down now?
After the glory comes the teardown and storage. No small feat when you go big.
Our plan for today is to take 2 months worth of work that we put up and have down in about 6 to 9 hours. Right now it's about 9 o'clock. We're hoping by about 3:30ish, we'll be 95% down and packed away and finished.
My favorite part, taking it down.
My worst part is when they take it down.
Yeah. She almost cries every year when we take it down.
Yeah, you know, one night it's all lit up, the next night you go out and it's completely dark.
Everyone's going to sort of be assigned a task to do. I'm going to have my son, Ryan, mainly on the house, taking down the house stuff, the higher up stuff. The little girls, they're going to be taking the blow molds and characters and candy canes, take them around the back and start to put them away. My wife is in charge of storage and stacking.
Looks good till next year.
Where do you store it all?
Storage is a thing that's going to put a cap on where I'm at, because I'm about 90% of my storage. The upper attic is where most of the pieces go, although some of them go under the bed, some of them go in the closet, and my downstairs bathtub, which I don't use, is full of Christmas.
Right now I'll show you my shed unit. When I say shed unit, it looks like an apartment complex. It started out as one shed. I started running out of space here, so what I had to do is I had to add another 8x16 space in here. This is loaded down. That's when this came into play. I'm running out of room.
That's easy. It's in a shoebox under my bed. It puts you in the spirit of Christmas, and that's what it's all about. This is the time that we should look at happiness and forget about our troubles and other troubles of the world. And for that one brief period of time in the year, we should try to be happy. I wish it could be Christmas all year round.
Whether you deck the halls with strands of C7s or spray the night sky with robotic bubbles, Christmas lights bring out the kid in all of us and make the season special.
I'm Mr. Christmas, wishing for you and yours the warmest and the brightest Christmas ever. Good night.
Thanks for tuning in. Happy holidays, and join us next year for more crazy Christmas lights.
I named him Rudolph.
My dad decorates with reindeer. I shoot him.
Would you shoot Rudolph?
Would I? Yeah, I'd probably shoot Rudolph.
He would. Put horns on me, he'd shoot me too.
Depends on the size, right? Oh, reindeer. Place where I need to have a tree stand sitting.